This is the 10 o'clock news on KTVU Fox 2.
Now at 10, a desperate search for a missing 15-year-old girl from the North Bay after she walks out in the middle of a summer class. Tonight, her parents holding out hope she will return home soon.
She's very smart. She smiles a lot. And she's very kind and very loving.
15-year-old Joyce Albino was last seen 1 week ago. Good evening. I'm Claudine Wong.
I'm Greg Lee. Albino lives with her parents in Santa Rosa, but disappeared at the junior college in Petaluma, where she's been taking a summer course.
New at 10, KTVU's Zach Sauce is live in Petaluma after speaking with her parents. Zach?
Yeah, and as you can imagine, her parents becoming increasingly worried. Police did say she left class voluntarily, but they are worried about the idea of a girl of her age being alone on the streets.
I just want to know that she's safe. She's very kind and very loving.
Catherine Albino's daughter Joyce last seen exactly 1 week ago at Santa Rosa Junior College's Petaluma campus, where she was taking a summer class in psychology. The day started out normally.
I think I dropped her off like at 9:55 a.m. and she starts at 10.
But when her dad arrived to pick her up, police say she was a no-show.
He was able to track her phone back to the campus where he actually located her phone and some of her personal property.
The instructor telling her parents that halfway through class, she suddenly got up and left. Police believe she likely left her phone behind so she couldn't be tracked.
Right now, we're dealing with a 15-year-old girl out there without any resources. Unfortunately, what we see a lot is when young girls go missing, they are more susceptible to becoming victims of human trafficking.
The teen, a student at Casa Grande High School in Petaluma, described by her parents as bright and kind. Her goal,
being a social worker to help others.
Since her disappearance, her parents and police plastering social media with missing posters.
We do believe that she has been seen in San Rafael, Redwood City, and most recently San Francisco.
Her father just returning home after canvassing the Tenderloin for her.
We're just trying to make sure that she makes it home and she's safe.
Joyce's mother with this message in case she's watching.
I love her so much. Whatever it is that's going on, you know, it can be fixed. There's a solution for everything, and we just want her back home.
And Joyce was last seen wearing a black hoodie and gray bike pants, as she has potentially been spotted in multiple cities in the Bay Area. They're hoping people across our region will keep an eye out for her. Claudine?
Certainly. We hope she gets home safely very, very soon. Thank you, Zach.
Today, friends, family, and community members gathered in Fremont to pass out flyers and get the word out about Katie Hong, who has been missing for 5 days. The volunteers came together at Irvington High School this morning before fanning out and sharing flyers across the city. Katie is 16 years old and was last seen on Friday at her home on Queens Park Court. She's 5 feet tall, weighs about 100 pounds. Her uncle tells us how police are approaching the search.
They're going through all her online communities. They're going to her friends, the people that she's associated with. But what's been amazing here today is to see so many people come to say, hey, you know what? We want to help. We want to go out and post flyers, pass out flyers. We want our whole community to know that she's missing so that she can come back home.
Investigators say Katie is at risk. Her family says she left a note, and it will only say it was deeply personal.
Tonight, fears of a devastating tsunami have faded almost entirely after yesterday's historic earthquake off a Russian peninsula. The 8.8 tremor triggered tsunami advisories along much of the West Coast and here in the Bay Area. While it has expired in our region, the advisory is still in effect up north from the Humboldt coast to the Oregon border. In San Francisco, emergency officials say the city's system to warn the public worked effectively with alerts on their phones, while down in Santa Cruz, people are grateful yesterday's quake did not lead to the catastrophes that we have seen with past tsunamis.
This event, we did not sustain as much damage as we did in 2011 or 2022. And so we're still currently assessing, as the surge is continuing to persist today. We're just monitoring for any additional impacts.
We've been getting some tsunami warnings over the past couple of years, and a lot of them just taper out to not too much.
Hawaii faced the most serious tsunami threat in the U.S., with thousands of people warned to evacuate to higher ground. Tonight, state officials say over-evacuation was an issue, with more people evacuating than was actually necessary. Former FEMA coordinator Mark Naveau says in moments like these, authorities have to find ways to strike a balance.
You get into this very difficult position of when do you push that button to activate the public, getting them evacuated from an area, but also having to maintain, decorum and order.
Experts say it's also challenging to know when to drop the advisories, as long as there's still the potential for dangerous waves and flooding. Waves up to 6 feet high did roll onto some Hawaii beaches, but no significant damage is being reported. And new video shows doctors in Russia caught in the motion of that 8.8 earthquake while performing a delicate cancer surgery. This is video from the Kamchatka Peninsula in Russia showing the medical team springing into action, covering the patient and bracing the surgical table and equipment. The earthquake and that tsunami left behind minor injuries and damage in the region.
Okay, let's bring in our chief meteorologist, Mark Tamayo, who has been tracking these tsunami conditions for more than 24 hours now. Mark?
It has been quite the day, right? And it's just amazing. You see an earthquake so far away and how it just impacts our local coastline. Pretty much right on with the forecast. So all the watches and the warnings, we were all getting prepared for the activity, and some of that energy did approach our coastline. Seismically, of course, we've been talking about the main shock, 8.8, and a lot of aftershocks for this part of the world you could see from yesterday into today. This is all the seismic activity, but of course, the main event was that 8.8, and look at the distance with those tsunami waves, over 2,500 miles out toward Hawaii, over 3,300 miles approaching the Bay Area coastline. And you can see here the effects. Crescent City, they had the tsunami warning yesterday. They had one height of up to 4 feet. That was 1:39 this morning. Point Reyes up 2.6 feet during the 4 o'clock hour. Monterey Bay 1.5 feet. San Francisco and Alameda 1.2 feet. I did see Richmond and Redwood City both under a foot, around 0.6 to 0.8 feet. So here's a look. There's a way you can actually look at the water height here, and we'll come in closer on this graphic here. So you can see that curvy line. That just represents the normal tidal cycles. That's kind of showing up here. Low tide, high tide. But look at what happened this morning between about 1 and 3 o'clock. All these lines going up and down. That is the tsunami activity moving into the San Francisco Bay. And then later on, those waves actually, at least the activity, not as severe, but still a little bit of some action going into this evening. So as a result, we do have this beach hazard alert until 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, because we still have the possibility of some strong ocean currents and some changing water levels with this pattern setting up in the short term. So there's still, at least in the short term, the possibility of some strange currents through the coastline as some of that energy still interacts with our shoreline. We'll have more in our forecast coming up in just a little bit.
Okay, Mark, sounds good. Thank you. Now to a major shakeup in the race for governor. Former Vice President Kamala Harris announcing today she will not be running for California's highest office in next year's election.
KTVU's John Krinjak joins us in studio with what Harris had to say and what this means for the race now. John?
Yeah, Claudine and Greg, well, it likely means that other Democrats have a much better shot at becoming governor, with candidates like Katie Porter and Javier Becerra being mentioned as potential frontrunners. Meanwhile, as for Harris's plans, political experts I spoke to say they do not necessarily see today's announcement as a signal she'll run for president in 2028.
While I concede this election, I do not concede the fight that fueled this campaign.
Ever since her presidential loss in November, speculation has swirled that former VP Kamala Harris might make a run for governor here in her home state. But that speculation ended on Wednesday. Quote, "In recent months, I have given serious thought to asking the people of California for the privilege to serve as their governor. But after deep reflection, I've decided that I will not run."
It would have been a nice race if she was running.
I never was that interested in her.
While voters may be split, political watchers agree this is a game changer.
Oh, it's huge. It's huge.
The campaign now can begin.
On paper, the Democratic field for governor was already crowded, with a former congresswoman, former AG, and current lieutenant governor.
A lot of folks were a little nervous because what if she enters the race? She's going to suck out a lot of the fundraising ability. She's going to suck out a lot of attention. And so knowing that Kamala Harris isn't going to run means that those folks are going to have a kind of easier path.
As for who might be a front runner in 2026,
Katie Porter's shown the ability to raise the money.
I think it helps Javier Becerra. I think he's really coming across as a front runner. It might also help Eleni Kounakis.
GOP strategist Tim Rosales says Harris's announcement could further complicate things for the Republican candidates who already face an uphill battle.
Well, certainly, like, the boogeyman is taken away, right? These new Democratic candidates, and they certainly don't draw the same kind of ire that, a Gavin Newsom does, or even Vice President Harris does.
As for Harris's future, she says for now her leadership will not be in elected office. Quote, I look forward to sharing more details in the months ahead about my own plans.
It is teasing. It is absolutely teasing.
Menlo College poli-sci professor Melissa Michelson isn't convinced a 2028 presidential run is necessarily in the cards.
But I don't know that we've seen any evidence that she wants to, because again, she really hasn't been out there criticizing Trump very much. She didn't go to the state convention. We just haven't seen her.
Now, remember, the primary in the race for governor is still nearly a year away. Yeah, we're talking about June of 2026. So while there may be a lot of fundraising behind the scenes, don't expect anything too visible from the candidates just yet, guys.
Yeah, but this is what we were waiting for. And it'll be interesting because Kamala Harris had so much support, at least in polls. I imagine all the candidates will be vying for her endorsement as well, to say, hey, if you're not going to run, at least back me.
Yeah, absolutely. Certainly her influence will be felt in the race for governor as well as other races. She's sort of stated that she wants to help get other Democrats elected. So that may be where she's focusing her attention now. But who knows? The race for governor still, more than a year away. The race for president in 2028, more than 3 years away. So
an eternity in politics.
Yeah, there is a lot of time.
Anything can happen.
Yeah. Anything can happen. All right. Thanks, John.
The Texas state legislature has released its proposed map of new congressional districts. At the urging of President Trump, Republican lawmakers have redrawn the boundaries in the Democratic-controlled cities of Austin, Dallas, Houston, and the Rio Grande Valley. Such a move would create 5 new districts that lean Republican and could shift the balance of power in the House further right. Governor Gavin Newsom has been a very vocal critic of the plan, writing today in part, quote, this moment requires us to be prepared to fight fire with fire, and we won't hesitate to act if Texas Republicans move ahead with this ridiculous power grab. Last week, the governor invited Texas Democratic lawmakers to Sacramento, where he told them he is working on a redistricting plan of his own to get more Democrats from California elected to the House next year. Under current state law, a move like that would require the California legislature's approval first.
Well, 10 years after it first opened its doors, the San Francisco's Tenderloin Museum is growing. More on the expansion and the new exhibits and galleries it will create.
Plus at 10:30, cracking down on the so-called gateway crime, an in-depth look at the partnership built to stop stolen vehicles in their tracks. But first,
in celebration of the Grateful Dead's 60th anniversary, a special pop-up store will take you there and show you how it's benefiting a local nonprofit.
New at 10, we're just days away from this weekend's Dead & Company concerts. Fans from other states and countries are arriving in the city and ready to spend some money. And the organizers behind a fundraiser at a pop-up store in the Haight hope the nonprofit they're helping with benefit from the festivities. KTVU's Amber Lee is live in San Francisco tonight with more about this fundraiser. Hi, Amber.
Hey, Greg, the pop-up store here on the Haight Street opened its doors for the first time today. Now, we saw a steady stream of customers inside. I spoke with the founder of the nonprofit about the goal of his program. Sowing the seeds of entrepreneurship. Julian Prince Dash is founder of Holy Stitch, a nonprofit in San Francisco that teaches people sewing skills to make a living.
It's like self-development, entrepreneurship, and finding your passion and making that into a career.
Setting up shop at a pop-up on Haight Street to sell merchandise students have made or customized. It's part of the festivities that will culminate with this weekend's Dead & Company concerts.
And I'm going to do this over the blue so we get a nice purple.
Sunshine Powers is among the vendors in this space supporting Holy Stitch. She's offering tie-dye merchandise. Powers tells me she will donate 50% of her proceeds to the nonprofit. She's also owner of Love on Haight, a legacy clothing store.
I think it's really imperative to give a chance to everyone.
Vendors such as San Francisco created a special edition Grateful Dead t-shirt to offer to music fans.
Yeah, so I can just be able to see visually.
Holy Stitch's home is on Market Street. Classes are held here for students ranging from teens to older folks. The space also functions as a store to sell what they manufacture on site. The pop-up fundraiser is a partnership between Dead & Company, Another Planet, the concert promoter, and vendors.
I'm hoping that we can get them somewhere in the neighborhood of $25,000. The program they put together is really impactful.
And there's a lot of details that goes into each and every single person here. And it's all on the inside.
The pop-up offers music fans unique merchandise and ways to customize their outfits while benefiting a program that fosters the spirit of following your heart and dreams.
I've been doing this from the bottom of my pockets and my heart, and it's growing. And I want to keep it growing.
The pop-up is open 10:30 to 6 every day through Sunday, and I'm told that many shops here in the Haight will be open until midnight on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So there's plenty of time to join in on the festivities. Greg?
Pretty incredible partnership there. Amber Lee live in the city for us. Amber, thank you. After Dead & Company comes the Outside Lands Music Festival, and today organizers released the official artist set times. Here's a look at scheduled blocks showing where each act will be each day. Friday top headliners include Doja Cat, John Summit, Beck, and Doechii. Saturday, the big names include Tyler, the Creator, Vampire Weekend, Gracie Abrams, and Gus Affelstein. Closing out the weekend, Hozier, Anderson .Paak, Glass Animals, and Jamie XX taking the stage on Sunday.
San Francisco's Tenderloin Museum is celebrating an expansion, tripling its size. Mayor Daniel Lurie and other city officials marked the occasion with a ceremonial groundbreaking on Eddy Street tonight. Organizers say the expansion into the historic Cadillac Ballroom inside the same building will enable them to enlarge their permanent collection and create new exhibits featuring Tenderloin artists and Native American history. This all comes as the museum is marking its 10th anniversary.
Groundbreaking today is really not about just the museum. It belongs to everyone we've collaborated with. Many of you are here today, so it's about you. Give yourselves a round of applause.
The museum says the expansion will also allow it to create a dedicated youth center to ramp up its programs with Tenderloin schools. Those new galleries are expected to open next year.
A bit of a cool down today here in the Bay Area with that thick marine layer still in place. So it looks like the headline for tomorrow, we're going to bump up those numbers a bit, but nothing too major. No major heat in our forecast just yet. Take a look at the highs from this afternoon. San Francisco 62, Hayward 68, San Jose mid-70s, and still a few 80s out towards Santa Rosa, Fairfield, and Antioch. This was a time lapse looking out toward the cloud cover, pushing back into the area. So the clouds have been increasing once again. For tonight, it will be a factor first thing tomorrow morning. So looking ahead, increasing low clouds in the short term. Tomorrow, some cloud cover should be a little bit warmer, and the weekend will be mild to warm. No big weather pattern changes headed our way. The satellite and the radar, just like yesterday and the day before, we're showing you some showers and thunderstorms across parts of the Sierra and up in Northern California. You can see all those lightning strikes showing up. For us here in the Bay Area, here we go. The low clouds, a pretty good onshore breeze. In fact, it's pretty windy out toward Fairfield right now. And the clouds already a factor right near parts of the bay. So here's a look at our current numbers out there. Santa Rosa 58, Concord checking in 60, San Jose 62, and the low clouds you can see already trying to work their way back into the picture for the overnight hours. So here's a plan tomorrow morning. There's the chance we could have some drizzle to start things off, and then into the afternoon hours, the clouds trying to clear back to near the coastline. So still some patchy fog for the beaches. Lots of sunshine inland. Could be a bit breezy, and the warmest locations tomorrow could be flirting with 90 degrees. Warm spots at least in the mid to upper 80s. San Francisco 66 degrees and San Jose in the upper 70s. We will have more on your weekend outlook coming up in just a few minutes.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Well, still ahead tonight, pressure from President Trump will not crack the Federal Reserve chair.
Jerome Powell is defending his decision not to lower interest rates.
Plus, a bill to ban members of Congress from trading stocks is gaining steam. The lawmaker close to the controversy now supporting that proposal. The Federal Reserve announced today it will leave interest rates unchanged, despite pressure from the White House to lower them. The decision leaves the key short-term rate at about 4.3%. KTVU's Tom Vakar is live in Novato tonight with more on what's behind today's decision. Tom?
Well, the Federal Reserve has lots of targets. They have a target interest rate. They have a target inflation rate. But take a look at this. Consumers have this kind of target, and they're all inextricably intertwined. Now, under extreme pressure from the president, the Federal Reserve governors, with some dissidents, actually said they wanted to focus on the what-ifs.
Even though the GDP second quarter figures came in at plus 3%, Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell said, comparing the first 6 months of this year to last year showed U.S. economic output had slowed to about half of what it was in 2024. Powell added that the nation's consumer spending slowed in the second quarter, the housing market remained weak, and tariffs have led to increased inflation expectations. So, the Fed did not lower interest rates.
We believe that the current stance of monetary policy leaves us well positioned to respond in a timely way to potential economic developments. My colleagues and I remain squarely focused on achieving our dual mandate goals of maximum employment and stable prices for the benefit of the American people.
Trump pressured Powell on social media before the vote. Too late must now lower the rate. No inflation. Let people buy and refinance their homes.
We don't set mortgage rates at the Fed, right? We set an overnight rate, and the rates that go into mortgages are longer term rates, like Treasury rates. It might be 30-year rates, it might be shorter than that, but it's not the overnight Fed's rate.
Terry Conley, Dean Emeritus of the Golden Gate University Business School and a former Wall Street banker, says the president is dead wrong, and Powell actually did Trump a favor.
I guarantee you, if they had lowered interest rates today, that would be the market perception, and mortgage rates would be higher tomorrow, not lower, because the message would be the Fed can be bullied politically to keep rates low.
The Federal Reserve's independence is a cornerstone of the nation's economy.
What it gives us, and other central banks, what it gives you is the ability to make these very challenging decisions that in ways that are focused on the data and the evolving outlook, the balance of risks, and all the things we talk about, and not political factors.
I hear they're going to do it in September.
If they lower in September, it won't be because they've folded to the president. It would be because there's really good reason to do it.
Now, as larger interest rates are still surviving, but as long as that happens, the Fed will actually be taking a look at what's going on. They're going to want to know about the tariffs and what the real effect of the tariffs are. And the other problem they have to deal with is the price of housing, not the interest rates on housing, but the actual price, because till that's solved, nothing else really will count that much. Reporting live, Tom Vakar, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi is endorsing a bill that would ban lawmakers and their spouses from trading stocks. The proposal by Missouri Senator Josh Hawley was originally called the Pelosi Act, referencing the criticism Pelosi has faced for her husband Paul's extensive trading. But after working with Democrats, Hawley agreed to change the name of the bill to the Honest Act. It narrowly passed the Senate committee today, but it is not clear there's enough support for the bill to make it to the Senate floor.
Coming up, the Delta pilot arrested at SFO and his ex-girlfriend appear in court for the first time. The charges they face for alleged sexual abuse of a child.
And a case closed after nearly 20 years in Alameda County. The technology that helped investigators solve a mystery.
And the San Francisco Giants make a key trade with the New York Mets. With less than a day to go until the trade deadline, Bailey O'Carroll will have that story later in sports. Plus,
switch cars, they'll go to underpasses, they'll go up in the hills.
Task Force takedown. After the break, we ride along with a team of officers focused on curbing auto theft in Alameda County. New at 10, in recent weeks, we've reported on auto theft raids in the city of Oakland. Officers recovering stolen cars, finding guns, and making arrests. Much of these efforts led by the Alameda County Regional Auto Theft Task Force. I rode along with the team to get a closer look at what they are seeing on the streets.
We have ours in an occupied stolen vehicle.
Undercover officers spot this stolen black Jeep in Oakland.
Our guy in the Jeep is out of the Jeep. Looks like he's going to be bumping gas.
Members of the Alameda County Regional Auto Theft Task Force, known as ACRAT, keep eyes on the Jeep and the suspected thief while they wait for air support.
I'm guessing he might try to go to an underpass, or he might try to go somewhere where he can go where the helicopter can't see him.
KTVU granted a ride-along with ACRAT, a team made up of members of CHP, Oakland Police, and the Sheriff's Office. We're blurring their faces and not identifying them because they operate undercover. After a few minutes following the Jeep, the driver gets spooked and takes off, speeding through intersections and driving erratically.
They'll switch cars, they'll go to underpasses, they'll go up in the hills.
Our car follows until it can get ahead of the suspect's route. One officer hops out and quickly deploys a stop stick, a type of spike strip. Officers chased the stolen Jeep to this park where it stopped and the suspect jumped out and ran. You can see the damage done to the tire by this stop stick. Uniformed Oakland police officers arrived to help with the search, focusing on this tunnel. The task force can utilize the resources of the three agencies and in this case called in an Alameda County drone operator. The drone confirms the suspect is hiding in the dark tunnel and not responding to officer commands. A CHP canine is brought in for more support.
The dog is released. He's going to bite you. If he bites you, he's going to hurt you.
The officers and police canine move in and take the man into custody, pulling him out of the tunnel in handcuffs.
Well, that car is a stolen car, and you're going to jail for driving a stolen car. Being able to locate that vehicle, recover the vehicle, and get it back to the rightful owner and let them move on with their life makes me feel good.
Earlier this month, this same team led a major auto theft raid in East Oakland that led to 2 arrests and the seizure of 15 stolen cars. The team finding weapons, commercial equipment, and even generators at the scene. ACRAT says curbing auto theft can lead to the prevention of bigger crimes.
It's the gateway crime. They use stolen vehicles in every other violent crime, major crime. It's just, that's what gets used. So trying to get it at the lower level.
Before the suspect's search, the officers drove us around an area where they often see stolen cars, showing us some of what they look for.
Make, model, they like the make and model of the car, all right? Ones that are getting stolen more often than others. The broken door locks, the broken handles, the busted windows.
Within minutes, they spot a Nissan that they can confirm is stolen and begin the process of getting it towed.
Ran the paper plate. This one's easy because it comes back, the paper plate on it came back to a Honda.
The specially trained officers move quickly, constantly on the hunt for more. They also search abandoned properties where stolen car chop shops have been known to pop up.
Finding vehicles, stolen vehicles, recovering them, you know, whether they're occupied or not. But always just looking for another one.
The task force is yielding results. In 2024, they made 87 stolen vehicle arrests and 36 others for other felonies. They recovered 1,028 stolen vehicles and 6 guns. The total value of stolen recoveries nearly $18 million. So far in 2025, they've made 64 stolen vehicle arrests and 13 others for other felonies. 661 stolen vehicles and 6 guns have been recovered for a total of nearly $11 million. Authorities say ACRAT's operations will certainly continue because vehicle theft remains an ongoing issue. The ACRAT team members said the ongoing cooperation between the 3 agencies involved and the support of Alameda County continues to be a key to their success.
Well, it was a tough afternoon for some commuters in the East Bay after the CHP closed all lanes of southbound Interstate 880, and that was due to a freeway shooting. Investigators combed the roadway for evidence in San Leandro from Davis Street to Marina Boulevard before reopening the lanes just after 4 p.m. The Highway Patrol says that there were no injuries associated with the shooting. Tonight, there is still no word of any arrests. And new at 10, the Justice Department has charged the man accused of intentionally setting fire to a San Jose post office. Richard Tillman, the brother of late NFL player and Army Ranger Pat Tillman, is now accused of malicious destruction by fire of a U.S. post office, a federal crime that carries a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison. Prosecutors say on July 20th, Tillman loaded his car with fireplace logs and lighter fluid, then drove into the Almaden Valley post office and set fire to the building. He separately faces charges in Santa Clara County, where a judge has ordered a mental competency test.
The Delta Airlines pilot and his former girlfriend charged with sexually abusing that woman's young daughter made their first court appearances today in Martinez. Russam Bagwagar and his former girlfriend Jennifer Powell face sexual assault and abuse charges. According to court documents obtained by KTVU, the alleged victim is the 45-year-old woman's daughter. The prosecutor handling the case said they are supporting the survivor while building the criminal case.
Obviously, this is a tough place to be in, and we want to make sure we do everything to protect our identity now and going forward.
If convicted, the two each face a sentence of 15 years to life in prison. They did not enter pleas today. The judge ordered both defendants not to contact the victim. They will be back in court next month.
Coming up at 11, a group busts into a mall in the East Bay, smashing display cases and even pepper spraying an employee. We're going to take a closer look at that violent robbery.
And a Barry weather clouds moving into the Bay right now, and a bit of a warm up as we head into your Thursday forecast. Will the warming continue into the weekend? We'll have the full update coming up.
And up next, putting your medical records in the hands of big tech, the ambitious proposal by the White House raising major privacy concerns.
Alameda County investigators have solved a nearly 17-year-old mystery using advanced DNA technology. In September of 2008, partial human remains were found floating in the Alameda Marina. And in 2011, more remains from the same person were discovered near Embarcadero in Oakland. Investigators were never able to identify the person, but last month, thanks to DNA sequencing from the company Othram, investigators were able to find family members of the person, and they identified him as 20-year-old Esteban Pablo, who went missing in 2007. Investigators are now working to bring him home to his family in Honduras.
President Trump today announced a new private health tracking system that will allow Americans to import medical records into an app of their choice. It's a collaboration between the federal government and dozens of companies, including Google and Amazon and major health systems like the Cleveland Clinic. The goal is to update old ways of storing healthcare data, making it easier to share between doctors, insurance, and patients. But critics argue giving medical data to private companies could lead to misuse or exploitation.
The question is, do you trust the company, and what are they going to do with it after they're done helping you?
The new system will initially focus on monitoring chronic conditions like diabetes and weight management and include digital tools to help register patients for check-ins or track medications. It is slated to launch early next year. Next at 10, Israel facing more fallout tonight over the accelerating humanitarian crisis in Gaza.
Plus, pushing back on allegations of anti-Semitism. The local coffee shop owner sharing his side of a viral encounter that triggered a lawsuit from the Department of Justice.
But first, the live look outside. Chief Meteorologist Mark Tamayo will have the complete Bay Area forecast after the break.
New at 10, Canada plans to recognize a Palestinian state starting in September, following similar announcements by France and the UK. As global pressure mounts over Gaza's humanitarian crisis, Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney called the suffering in Gaza intolerable and emphasized the need to preserve a two-state solution.
For decades, it was hoped that this outcome would be achieved as part of a peace process built around a negotiated settlement between the Israeli government and the Palestinian Authority. Regrettably, this approach is no longer tenable.
Meantime, a hospital in Gaza is reporting dozens of Palestinians were shot and killed today while waiting for food distribution. It is not clear who opened fire, and the Israeli military has not commented. The World Food Program says Gaza is experiencing a full-blown famine, with more than 20,000 children admitted to hospitals for acute malnutrition in just the last 3 months. Neighboring countries are stepping up their humanitarian aid drops, but it is not enough to feed the whole population.
You would see more children be malnourished. You would see additional mortality. The situation right now is a famine which is extremely rare.
The Israeli government still claims there is no famine, calling it propaganda by Hamas. But they did pause their offensive in some areas to allow more aid into Gaza.
The owner of a coffee shop in Oakland, who is an outspoken supporter of the Palestinian people, is breaking his silence tonight after the Justice Department filed a lawsuit accusing his business of discriminating against Jewish customers. As KTVU's Crystal Bailey reports, some Jewish organizations are also requesting the DOJ drop the suit.
Abdul Rahim Harara hosting press and members of the community at his coffee shop on Telegraph Wednesday morning.
The cafe has faced unprecedented harassment and unprecedented repression.
Taking the opportunity to address lawsuits filed against him by 2 Jewish customers and the federal government. It all started in October 2023.
This is a private business. You're being asked to leave.
When Jonathan Hirsch says he was denied service after wearing a hat with the Star of David on it. In a separate incident, Jewish customer Michael Radis says he was also denied service for wearing a similar hat. Their attorneys argue they were kicked out of the coffee shop because of their religion. But Harara's supporters, including the International Jewish Anti-Zionist Network and Jewish Voice for Peace Bay Area, say the Star of David is not a religious symbol, but a Zionist symbol.
As a Jew, when I see someone with a prominent Star of David, especially if it is accompanied by the colors blue and white, it sparks fear even in me.
Both groups are asking the DOJ to drop the suit, adding the federal government is silencing anyone who opposes the war in Gaza.
This unwavering commitment to justice by any means necessary is precisely why we have been systematically targeted.
We have a Justice Department that is doing everything it can to dismantle the civil rights protections in this country.
Hirsch's attorneys say what's happening abroad is not relevant.
This case has nothing to do about silencing anyone, has nothing to do with the First Amendment.
Maintaining their client was kicked out of the shop in an act of discrimination, and video evidence proves it.
The defendant himself made admissions on tape when he was interviewed by the police afterwards that the only reason he had to throw my client out was that he was wearing this hat with the Jewish star on it.
Harara's Jewish supporters argue the shop is welcoming to all.
There's no anti-Semitism I've felt at this coffee house. In fact, I felt nothing but welcome. It's like coming to a family establishment.
The cases are currently in the discovery process before they head to trial. We did reach out to the DOJ attorney who is handling the case, and she declined to comment. In Oakland, Crystal Bailey, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
Well, we've been talking so much about the real strong quake up in Russia, but just over an hour ago, we had a little tiny quake just off our coastal waters. In fact, right now, as you can see, the epicenter is about 20 miles to the south of Half Moon Bay. It's a magnitude 3.3 that happened at 9:28 this evening, and some reports of some weak to light shaking on land closer to Santa Cruz County and parts of the peninsula. Now, as far as temperatures today across the country, of course, still talking about some heat out toward Dallas and Houston, near 100 degrees, but out toward the Bay Area, no major heat. In fact, the temperatures today, most areas a little bit below the average. Livermore about 10 degrees below the normal high for today, and San Jose in the mid-70s this afternoon. Here's a breakdown for tomorrow. Some low clouds, coast side low to mid-60s. Around the bay, some cloud cover becoming breezy, and then clearing skies inland and lots of 80s expected, and maybe a few neighborhoods tomorrow afternoon getting close to the 90-degree mark. Here's the satellite and the radar, and once again, we've been watching these showers and thunderstorms develop across parts of the Sierra, right closer to Lake Tahoe and portions of Northern California. Looks like those lightning strikes have kind of been dissipating, at least those thunderstorms dissipating over the past couple of hours. Right now, though, the fog, the low clouds kind of getting their act together. You can see already the clouds near the coast making their push back into the bay with the help of those onshore winds. And we'll take a look at some windy reports. You can see Fairfield, 23 miles an hour. Concord, that's a wind gust of up to 30 miles an hour. And SFO right now, we have winds gusting to over 20 miles an hour. Here is our live camera looking out toward SFO tonight. Already some clouds back in this picture. And current numbers in the upper 50s to the lower 60s. Concord right now checking in 60 degrees. We'll bring in the clouds coast side and right around the bay first thing tomorrow morning with the possibility of some drizzle out there to start out your Thursday morning. So here's the forecast model at 7 o'clock, and then into the afternoon hours, the clouds try to clear back to near the coastline. So still some patchy overcast near portions of our shoreline. More sunshine inland, and temperatures actually up a few degrees from today, all because we have the system up here, a cooler one. This area of high pressure is having some influence on our temperature pattern. So we have the clouds in the morning becoming breezy and a warmer Thursday. Once again, this is not a major heat event, but temperature is still up a few degrees from today. So lots of 80s for Santa Rosa out toward Fairfield, getting close to 90 for Antioch and Brentwood. Down to the South Bay, San Jose in the upper 70s and Gilroy mid 80s. San Mateo 75 degrees. Here's a look ahead, your 5-day forecast. So some warming in your Thursday forecast and not too much change over the next several days. For Friday, clearing skies. On Saturday, the warmest locations could be right around 90, maybe 91 degrees, and then we'll eventually cool things off into early next week. You might be thinking, okay, where's the heat for August? Eventually, beyond this 5-day forecast, we could be talking about a pattern change that could deliver more heat back in the Bay Area.
And coming up in KTVU Sports, presented by Honda, the San Francisco 49ers defense could have multiple rookies starting this upcoming season under new defensive coordinator Robert Saleh. We take a look at how the Niners could fare on that side of the ball.
Then on the 11 o'clock news, several members of the Air Force go down with heat-related symptoms while hiking in Solano County. We'll hear from authorities who swooped in for the rescue.
Welcome back. I'm Bailey O'Carroll. The MLB trade deadline, that is less than 24 hours away. All eyes on the San Francisco Giants. Right now, the team is an MLB worst 14-26 since signing Rafael Devers. They've lost 8 consecutive home games, and they're certainly looking to make a change. That started today. The Giants agreed to send right-handed pitcher Tyler Rogers to the New York Mets. In return, the Giants will receive right-handed pitchers Jose Butto and Blade Tidwell. They also will get outfielder Drew Gilbert. Now, Rogers is 4-3 this season. He's recorded 38 strikeouts in 53 games, tied for the most in the majors. But that trade, is it enough? Fans want the Giants to do more to get to the bottom of what is going wrong. I spoke with Damon Bruce, host of Damon Bruce Plus on YouTube. He says there should be a bigger focus on manager Bob Melvin.
Now, I know that they just extended Bob Melvin. I've been calling him Sleepy Bob. He's not exactly been inspiring an awful lot of confidence in the managerial style or staff. Like you said, bad base running errors, not just on one person either. It's a team-wide issue.
So the trade today, the Giants also continuing their slide today, closing out their series against the Pirates in the 8th inning, game tied at 1. This fly ball here, we don't care about that. We care about that catch. Mike Yastrzemski would leap over the wall and somehow catch this in foul territory. Definitely has to be up there. A contender at the very least for catch of the year. The game, though, would go into extra innings, tied at 1 in the 10th here, same score. Henry Davis's fielder's choice grounder brings home the go-ahead run. The Pirates take the lead 2-1, and they would go on to win this one. Final score 3-1.
Is the Pirates in the top of the 10th.
On to some football. The San Francisco 49ers, they were off today, but as training camp continues, the one big task at hand, building a defense, or I should say rebuilding their defense, following several trades, as well as a whole new class of talent that has arrived. Arjo Fonzie has more on this story.
Kyle Shanahan has built a reputation as one of the most creative offensive coaches in football. Now in his 9th season with the 49ers, Shanahan has used 5 of his 8 first-round draft picks on defensive players. The headliner this year is defensive lineman Michael Williams, the 11th pick overall from Georgia. Williams is expected to make an immediate impact.
Michael looked really good. He's very physical. He's got a big reach, so I think he just needs to hone in, obviously, his first day on his aiming points and trusting the system.
Michael is he's going to be a hell of a football player.
Those evaluations come from 2 very important people in the 49er defense. With massive offseason departures on the defensive line, Nick Bosa's importance jumps exponentially on a unit that slipped to 29th in team defense last season. Robert Saleh's 4 years as San Francisco's defensive coordinator can be summarized as a rebuild with young players into a dominant unit before he departed as a head coach. Saleh's back after 2 consecutive defensive coordinators were fired, with a job similar to the one he took on in 2017.
With youth comes lumps because they're learning, especially with what offenses are doing now and how complex they've gotten. they don't just stand there and make it easy for us. They're motioning, they're moving, they're jetting, they're doing all kinds of stuff pre-snap. And so there's going to be some moments where it's like, oh, God.
As much as the 49ers have a collection of new young players, they do have a couple who might be the best in the game at their positions, able to help the rookies.
I honestly try to be a help to any of the young players that I can anytime they got questions and giving them that feedback. I think the key is to be consistent, setting the tone every single day. And as the young guys see that, they fall right in line.
And also appreciating Saleh's experience.
And when I was a rookie, I didn't really know any better. Having him back has been awesome. Just his commanding presence in the defensive meetings is what we needed.
It wasn't just with their first-round pick that the 49ers emphasized defense. After Williams came defensive tackle Alfred Collins in the second round, linebacker Nick Martin in the third, cornerback Upton Stout also in the third, and defensive tackle C.J. West in the fourth. They also made a deal for veteran pass rusher Bryce Huff, who excelled while playing for Saleh in New York and is happy to be back in the scheme Saleh coaches.
Rushing with my hand down is definitely what I'm supposed to be doing. Just a lot more physical style of ball. Don't have to think as much as go out there and be an athlete and make plays, so it's definitely a fit.
All said and done, this is the first training camp in recent years with so much to be decided.
There's a chance we could have 6 rookies or 6 new guys starting. There's a chance we could have 8. We'll see how it plays out. And anytime you say that, that's different. That is a different team. You're going to play the best player, whether he's young or not. We are in a situation where we have a lot of opportunities for young guys to be our best players. We haven't had that in a while.
It's the time of year when people like to make bold proclamations and predictions, but when it comes to the 2025 49ers, you can count on this. Their success will depend on how quickly and if their revamped defense can get up to speed. In Santa Clara, Joe Fonzie, KTVU, Fox 2.
That's it for sports tonight. The 11 o'clock news with Greg starts right now.
Next at 11, the urgent search for a missing 15-year-old girl in the North Bay. Her family pleading for her to come home. In a brazen robbery at a mall, the East Bay thieves hurting an employee and leaving damaged property in their wake. And Kamala Harris makes her decision. The former vice president will not run for California governor, what it means for her and the race to lead the state.
The 11 o'clock news on KTVU Fox 2 starts now.
Hello again, I'm Greg Lee. We begin at 11 with a major shakeup in the race for governor. Former Vice President Kamala Harris announcing today she will not be running for California's highest office in next year's election. KTVU's John Krinjak joins us in studio with what this means for the race now. John?
Well, Greg, it likely means that other Democrats have a better shot at becoming governor, with candidates like Katie Porter and Javier Becerra being mentioned as potential frontrunners.